Next step on the YETMAN Honda project, we want to lightly sand the primer, see if there are any spots we need to fill in, any more body work to address, and maybe, because it's actually above freezing out there, maybe even get some of the painting done today. Now we got the hardware and the bolts all cleaned up, polished, ready. The little brackets are ready for a coat of black. But the first thing I want to do is address that coat of primer. Now, depending on how much time I'm going to have today, this is going to be try to get several things done today. There's a chance Vlad may come over, so I don't want to start any of this until I hear from him. But I'm sure he's itching to get working on this. That's ready to go. And the main thing is we got to do some sanding here. So let me get a bucket of nice warm soapy water and get busy. So I want to take some 600 sandpaper because I think this might need another coat of primer. I won't really know. I want to knock down any little scratches or edges or anything that are in here, and I sure don't want to compromise this. We've gotten quite a bit of time into this already, and I have to be really careful where the repair, which is the repair I didn't do, so I don't know how it's done. It looked like it was done with just like a 5-minute epoxy or something. But again, that's something I can't control. This is the part I can control. This will just take a little time. It adds one little level of smoothing everything out. We'll pick up any flaws. We'll fix any flaws if we find them in this step. And hopefully either get it primed or get some black paint on it later today. It looks like it's warming up out there, and probably by midday we should have a pretty nice paintable day. Now, a lot of people just take, and there's no big deal to doing this, a lot of people just take the primer as it sits on there and put the paint right on top of it. Yeah, and you can do that. But this just adds one little, by getting any little flaws out of it now, you just stack the deck in your favor, and we're probably going to need another coat of primer on this. Just my gut feeling from looking at the way this sanded out. There's still little spots on there. After this sanding, probably one more coat of primer will do it. And the thing with all of this work, there's always steps you can step. There's steps you can skip. You can compromise it. You can leave out, some of the things that make it a lot nicer at the end. And this project, like most of the stuff that I work on, it's very old. There's a certain amount of joy you get from knowing it. Here's something that's 50 years old. It's probably had a really rough service life, maybe an interesting history, who knows. And hopefully when I'm done with it, it'll be a lot nicer than it was whenever. 1967, we have those pictures from 1967 of the motorcycle sitting by the garage. Well, it's a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia there. And I think in the end, when you can bring one of these parts back from the brink of whatever, just there's a lot of I get a lot of joy out of it anyway. Now it looks like we're coming down to where I'm not sure we're going to need it. Well, you know what? We're going to have to see when we're done, but you can see how we've gotten down to where you can pick up little flaws in the paint now, any little low spots. And I've got to be real careful on this side when I get to this side, because this side has that repair. I'm not sure you can see with, this is not a good macro lens, but you can see all the little pits and pockets in the old bodywork. This is the old bodywork. I didn't do any of this bodywork, so I'm just trying to salvage it. But the right way to salvage this right now is I'm going to put some CA on there, wipe it, try to build a little layer of bond on it, and then blend it in, maybe even with some dry sanding. The other way would be to put some of the red material or the Bondo in there, but I like the CA is just always the better of the two choices. It just adds some strength. It isn't like this you can put your fingernail in. This, when it's done, that'll be a lot stronger. Now I always like using CA for any of these kind of little imperfections. There's a simple reason, is they tend to be a lot stronger. Now in the case of if you were doing a car, I guess you'd use a couple $1,000s worth of CA, but in this case adding an extra little cost to the job to keep it as nice as we can make it. Again, first thing, never do that. Now when I sand that down, what's going to happen is the little dust is going to go into the little holes and make the equivalent of CA Bondo. The rest is going to sand right off. Now the last thing is, I'm going to just take this, hit this with kicker. That just accelerates the cure. Give that a minute or two to dry, and we'll be ready to do the final sand out on that. Now the beauty of using, one of the nice things about using this CA method, it's dry in a matter of a minute, less than a minute. And sometimes when you do this with products like Bondo and like the red material that this is done with, what happens is they take forever to dry unless it's a hot summer day. Here in the shop right now it's about 65, and at that temperature some of that stuff takes forever to dry. Anyway, the plan here is to get on a very light coat of primer. I'm going to try to get my table unfrozen, and if I can't I'll have to come up with some other method, but my table froze into the ground the other day. Dry this off, prep saw it, and see if it's our lucky day if that weather's going to hold up. You never know that. That's just, that's a, no matter what, you never can tell. Yeah, we're pretty much ready there. But you always can use your hand. Your hand will find any little flaw that you really can't see, even under fluorescent lights. Now the trick with any of these self-etching primers, actually with any primer, thin coats. Thin coats, try to avoid getting runs. In this case, we have plenty of time to do this. You can tell I'm in a hockey rink here. But I did get my table out of the ice, so it's warming up a little bit. I feel like I'm in Florida. See, now the mistake is always, right at this point in time, you don't want to wait till this coat dries, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. You're going to put so much on that you get a run. That actually looks like it's going to be pretty good. One little spot there I see is a little bald. So now that it's all dried up, I can shoot a coat of black on it and get some idea of what it's going to look like. I just want to see if I can get the edges on this. Boy, we've lucked out with the day. It actually is a riding day. Now once I have those edges, I'll let that dry. I want to get all along the edge, then I can put this back up on the cans and spray away. And of course the wind already is starting to blow, which makes this just a little extra fun. You just can never have enough fun with this. Yeah, we're going to try to get on 3 thin coats, and then that'll dry overnight. Hopefully we'll have a day like this tomorrow to do the clear. Now if I had the rest of the day available, I might even get the clear on today, but we have some baby that looks just like Miles coming over here to visit Grammy Grandpa. So we'll try to get, what we'll try to do is get the black on. That's the first coat. Get 3 coats of black on, and that'll be all we can do today. Now, as unpredictable as my world always is, Karen just came out and told me the baby's not coming for a couple hours, so I think I'm going to let this dry up. I'm going to shoot the clear today. It's just such a nice day. I hate to even waste it, even though we got a lot of snow on the ground. Would be nice to get 2 coats of clear on that and get that out in the garage drying. I didn't think I'd have that choice today, but well, we do have the choice. So that'll dry up. 20 minutes from now we'll be shooting some clear. Now, this is the clear we've been using lately, and we've had some really good luck with it, so I've been sticking with it. The idea is we want to get 2 coats on, roughly 20 minutes, so probably a half hour apart. All right, time to let that dry out. Put the second coat on, and we're basically done for the day. I want to see how that second coat is drying up. Oh, I think Chuck will be happy with that. I think Chuck's going to be real happy with that. And to be honest, I think this is another one of the things we brought back from a 50-year-old tank that now looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. Real happy the way that came out. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed all of the adventures we have. We have to still paint the brackets. I'll do that off camera. And boy, that really looks nice. And we only have about a half hour to spare before we got to go get the baby. So I hope you enjoyed watching. And I hope you enjoyed all these adventures we have. It's the passion we have for restoring old motorcycles.